So, welcome everyone to the first quarterfinal. Today we have Penta Sports versus Super Cool Kids. As always, and as expected since it's his stream, Amadeus is alongside me to cast.
Hello, hello. Looking forward to some exciting matches today.
As am I. So let me introduce the Penta team. In the top left, we have Penta Sports ZX Gannon playing as Cartel. In the top right, playing as US. Oh no, sorry, that is the bottom left. The bottom left playing as US, we have Pentasports Cruelty, and Pentasports are in
Yes.
blue.
And in the top right, we have playing for Team Super Cool Kids, Warrior Wounds playing as US. And bottom right, we have Neowave playing the Chimera. And after watching the last game that they played, I'm excited to see what they're going to pull off this time.
As am I.
As per usual, we have the slow start in the beginning. But everything's looking pretty standard so far. People are doing their double refineries, except for Chimera, which they don't need to. And everybody's going for their banks.
See Warrior with slight misplacement there, missing out on 3 of his oil patches, which is a bit disappointing.
Uh, I do that more than I care to admit. And it's the worst feeling when you finally notice it and you just start beating yourself up. That's what, it's like 4,500 oil just sitting there.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you miss something like that, it's like you don't even want to bother trying to collect because it costs like so much to put another refinery there just to get a small gain.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, if you miss them, it's definitely not worth it to take them afterwards. You kind of just have to write those off.
Yep. And pray it doesn't come back to bite you. So we do see Ganon is going to be sending some cartel infantry towards his corner bank.
We
So
are
far, it's hard
seeing,
to tell if anybody else is going to do it.
well, we are seeing a field hospital out of Cruelty, which would suggest that he'll be sending dust-offs with infantry to the banks. He is producing Marines and so far 1 Javelin.
Yep. It is very likely it'll be going to a bank, but we might see something very sneaky out of him. We'll see. Depends on how risk-taking he's feeling right now. We do see Warrior sending some infantry of his own to his corner bank as well.
So we do.
Stingers as well.
What Warrior seems to be going for a fairly eco build at the moment. He just has his double refiner on each resource, and he hasn't got any production up yet. We're going to
We do see the first dust off loaded up by Cruelty. Hard to tell where exactly he's going to go. It looks like he wants to make a play for one of Super Cool Kid's corner banks.
Interesting composition of the 5 Marines and 1 Javelin.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a bank composition, if you ask me. Some cheap infantry, and then the Javelin, just for that, if a recon tries to come and harass the bank, they won't get away with that. So it does look like he's going to go for that bank control.
Interesting choice there to take that bank, because it's very easy for Neo to just clear it out with an SAS or 2.
True, but if he doesn't know what to expect there, he probably won't be prepared with an SAS, and it'll just delay him even more. Well, we do see if Neowave does pass his recon by that bank, that Javelin will snipe it. But he does see it because of the long view range.
We have Neowave going into his support bay.
There's 2 sets of 2 Vipers going up from Ganon. I don't know if he's going for a bank or if he's just going to try and put them into various houses to scout/harass attacking forces.
We are seeing the double Scorpio play out of Ganon, fairly standard for him. It's pretty much what he goes for every game.
Well, if you can micro them well, they have superior range to most ground units, and they do a lot of damage. The only downside is their health, which is very low, and their rate of fire is also very low.
So Warrior Wound's going into Helipad. He's getting his logistics sent up, so he should get those resource upgrades. We see that Cruelty has complete, or just about to complete Hydro fracking.
Boosts his economy. It looks like Cruelty also did take the center bank. He also added a stinger into the composition. And Warrior Wounds got his second refineries up and expanded.
So we are now seeing Super Heinz out of ZX Ganon.
Oh, he's got one loaded up with Vipers right now. I don't know if he's sending it somewhere. Yep, it's going somewhere.
It'll probably be to harass a refinery or something like that.
Yep, that would be the best play with something that small.
Here come the two Scorpios. They will make a push for the Chimera player. Luckily the Chimera player is pretty well defended. He has got his Crusher upgrade as well as SAS in place.
Yeah, like I was saying before, Scorpios don't have much armor, so if those Crushers can get in range, they are very potent against Scorpios. Scorpios right now taking advantage of the range. Looks like he does just want to try and go for Crushers, which is probably going to be the best option. And we see Ganon actually brought his Super Hind over here to Neo's base.
Neo has got ninjas up though, which will do some damage. He has got two ninjas up by my count.
Got a second Hind here too. He's got a lot of infantry. Single ninja is going to have to be managed really well to take down both the Hinds.
He has got two ninjas, one in his base and one near his expansion.
Ah. Right now we see Ganon pushing really hard with that. Oh, he's got Sherishins as well that he put in the barn.
Good surround
one
there
Hind
by Neo. He surrounded those Hinds and he's now going to kill off another one.
Up and there goes both the Hinds, but the Vipers and the Sherishins take down that refinery, which is going to be really bad. That is a huge cost.
Those infantry may just run into the range, though, of that sentinel turret if they're not careful.
I think he knows about it. He stopped right at the range, or right at the radius. We see Warrior expanding into one of the central island on the right. Making use of that strong eco, and we see Neo is going to send his ninjas at the base of Ganon, which is actually a good idea.
It's a great idea because he can really hurt that economy.
Yeah, if he can pick off the Hinds that are in production, he can easily start harassing that economy.
Bunch of Shershins down to an SAS. Bad micro there from ZX Ganon.
Yeah. It looks like Neo's ninjas are looking at the economy and harassing a bit. Some of the Hinds are coming out and are aware of his position, it looks like. But he looks like he's just going to keep poking around at the economy, which is actually, in my opinion, a much better decision. But Ganon looks a little prepared because he does have standard automatics. He does actually have an automatic sitting at each of his refineries, so the ninjas are going to have to catch the eco while they're transporting to the base.
We are now seeing double light vehicle bay out of Cruelty, maybe a reaction to seeing those ninjas, knowing that the ground attack would be a better choice, and he's getting blazes up.
Yep, Blazers and Strikers and Hercules. He is definitely grabbing a US ground force. Meanwhile, Neo is recovering from the loss of that refinery, which I still think was pretty big. I'm pretty sure it was upgraded as well, so that's a huge loss to take right there. We see Neo still trying to poke in with his ninjas, but Ganon was preparing. He's parked automatics to watch each of his refinery positions.
And interestingly enough, Warrior Wounds has managed to get up enough of an economy that he has gone DEFCON 1 and he can get Rare Earth.
Wow. Yeah, he's been pretty much left alone. Yeah, he's going for that. He's rushing right for that deep mining, which I think is a good play because his economy hasn't been harassed. Both of his opponents have been leaving him alone, so if he grabs deep mining early, he's going to extend the life of pretty much all of his resource fields.
And that'll put him in a good position.
Time. Oh yeah. However, we do see that Team's Penta Sports definitely has the bank advantage. They have a majority of the banks in the middle. Only Warrior Wounds has an additional one to his name. Otherwise, Neowave only has his starting bank.
Far less of a expansion from Cruelty so far, and I don't think he has DEFCON 1 either. He is getting a few more refineries up now.
Ganon has gone into Black Ops, and he is currently sending out Scout CGS with, I think that's the flamethrower upgrade. Yeah.
Interesting.
I have never actually seen the flamethrower upgrade in action before. We do see Warrior Wounds moving around with a Guardian Force already.
And Warrior Wounds' garrisoned bank is picking off those Scout CGS pretty well.
Yep. Scout CGS definitely did a lot of damage to the refinery that I watched them blow up, though.
They did, yes.
It's a very powerful weapon.
Luckily, it was a rare earth refinery, which is not too important at this stage of the game.
Yep. Especially since if Warrior scouted properly, he should know that he has a rare earth field in his base.
So
Warrior
far,
was able to.
We haven't seen any
Warrior
transition
was able to pick off.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say Warrior picked off the Hinds and the units of Ganon without losing anybody in the process, which is good. Very good.
Interesting. Double nuke out of Warrior Wounds. I was about to say we haven't seen any transition into ground units. He's only sitting on one helipad, but he's gone double nuke, and that's a really early double nuke.
Do have a push out of Cruelty with his Tusk 1 force is right at the up base of Neowave, and this does not look good for Neo at all.
It doesn't, no.
Got a couple of turrets, but
he doesn't have a lot of blazes,
need the help
though.
from Warrior.
And Warrior is coming across.
No, he doesn't. He only's got a couple. Yeah, the Guardian play, especially since they already are supported by the Ospreys, should be able to deal with this. One of the lasers already went down to an SAS. We do see that Guardian Force coming from Warrior Wounds. It's twice as big now. We've got 8 Guardians.
And
the only question here is if Neo is actually going to be able to hang in there hard enough to keep himself in the game after this.
I think he should. I mean, as long as he doesn't lose too much, he's lost a few turrets and 1 refinery so far, but that's about all.
Yeah.
None of his production's gone on.
I'm looking at going forward economically because Cruelty has already got the expansion that Neo would be able to go to, and Warrior has the other one.
But you need to remember that this is a pretty big economic loss from Cruelty.
This is true, yes. He is losing quite a large army. And I think that this should definitely be followed up by Warrior, harassing that expansion of Cruelty. Otherwise, even though Cruelty is losing that large force, he's still going to allow his economy to expand unimpeded if that expansion continues to stay uncontested.
So we are seeing now a Patriot out of Cruelty as well as a Phalanx.
That's will keep the Guardians away from his base. That's all he's thinking. And Neo is getting a prison, and he is going to collect those POWs. So that will help him out a little bit here. And he's got Namers taking his bank back as well. Or taking his corner bank, I should say.
And that's a big push from Warrior Wounds heading towards ZX Ganon.
With Ganon going around him with Heinz. But Ganon's little Viper scout force is going to spot the Guardians.
Neowave does still have ninjas up though, so those Hinds will be less effective.
Those are upgraded Grinches. That's really bad for the helicopters. They have about the same range as Guardians when they're upgraded. That is so much damage. And they're still in range.
That is crazy range.
Yeah, the Grinch upgrade is... I feel like it's bugged for jets because the missile is extremely slow against jets, but for helicopters, they create a no-fly zone. You can't get near them because they will counter the range of the Guardians.
So there goes double nuke towards Cruelty, although he has got that Patriot up.
But he's only got one missile in. He's only got one missile in. Is the other one going to finish in time?
Those nukes are unupgraded though, unfortunately, and it will finish in time. So those nukes are going to be completely wasted. Those nukes should have gone towards the cartel player.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he does have a Skyguard, but he only has one round in it.
And those nukes were a waste.
So good. You know, if they were launched just a little bit earlier. But I can understand. I'm willing to bet that Warrior was very much focused on getting away from those Grinches, because that would have been a huge loss if he lost all of those helicopters to the Grinch. See, Ganon, he's got quite the expansive economy as well for a cartel player. And that is a huge force of Hinds he has managed to accumulate.
That is a very large force of Hinds.
Harassing the force of Cruelty that took his bank. Which, by the way, Cruelty now has almost all banks. We see the Guardians might get caught out by these Raptors. No, they're far enough away. But those Hinds, especially since the Hinds still have those upgraded Grinches, I don't think Warrior Wound's force can stand up to Ganon's force at all here. Oh, and the Raptors are over Warrior Wound's base, and they did manage to take out a Guardian. And we do see the Grinch unloaded by Ganon. There goes an Osprey, and Warrior Wounds has to back off. There's nothing he can do against those. The range is real.
So right now, Warrior's kind of stalling his production. He needs to cancel something. In my opinion, the best bet would be to cancel his air production, because that's just not going to do much anymore.
Yeah. I think the nukes as well, because he already knows there's counter nukes, and they know he has at least 2 silos, so they should be keeping at least 2 shots loaded at the very minimum.
Yeah, those nukes aren't going to be able to do anything much anymore.
And each nuke is 4K gold too, so I think he should put that somewhere else.
He should rather get Patriots up, because those Patriots will be good at shooting down those Hinds when those Hinds eventually do push.
Yes. I think Warrior would benefit greatly from transitioning to ground because both Penta guys have got heavy anti-air and they are prepared for the helicopters.
Yeah.
Cruelty has a large blazer force now. And those hinds are a problem. You need to take out those hinds.
And the best bet for that would be Patriots, because Patriots just one-shot helicopters.
Yep.
There are quite a few ninjas up from Neo Wave though, so those ninjas alongside the Guardians should be pretty effective.
Neo Wave trying so hard to push us, but a whole bunch of deltas just ran in and like ambushed his entire ground force at his corner bank.
We are seeing attack here from Ganon on the expansion of Warrior Wounds in Neo Wave. Oh no, this is only Warrior Wounds, it's his expansion.
Yep. Did see a couple of hinds go down to that phalanx. That phalanx actually hung in there pretty darn well.
And interesting that
those
Warrior
ninjas...
is using this point to push with a bunch of Tusk 1 strikers. So Ganon should not have a lot up in defense, which is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that pays off. There's no Blazers in this force though, or Hercules.
I think his oh, there's the GG from
Yeah, there's the GG. I'm honestly not surprised. That is a lot of hinds. That is a large ground force out of Cruelty. This force out of Warrior Wounds could do damage. Warrior Wounds might hang in here because he does have a fairly strong economy. But Neo is definitely... he's out. Cruelty's ground force, he doesn't have anything for that. I see Warrior Wounds getting into the base. But there's still a fair amount of hinds there, as well as 2 Skyguard turrets, which are still capable of firing on the ground force.
Or we're going to see one Skyguard go down, and as soon as I look, the nuke is coming straight after that Skyguard, so that's a really clever play there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very nice. He is going to lose this ground force to this hind, but we'll see what this nuke is able to do.
And quite a lot of damage done.
The hinds.
Those hinds moved just at the right point.
Oh, that would have been beautiful to just nail all those hinds. We see Cruelty's Tusk 1 force just ripping up things apart on the ground. He's got a strong economy to back it up. He's got Patriots at his expansions, and he's got 2 in his base now. Helicopters aren't getting near him. He's got his own nuke now. We see Warrior dropping down 2 more Patriots. It looks like he's going to try and hang in there.
Warrior going for Deltas. Deltas will be pretty effective against that ground force of Cruelties.
Indeed they will. Speaking of that ground force, here they are pushing right at Warrior Wound's expansion, which is going to be very, very bad for him. I think this is the only on-map resource he's really collecting from right now. He does have admin centers, but at this stage of the game, that's not going to be enough. You see Ganon's hind still trolling around the map.
Interesting, we're not seeing blazes out of Warrior Wounds, which might be a bad idea from him.
Yeah, he needs anti-air. Those even though there's a strong ground force out of Cruelty, its main composition is Blazers and ICVs.
And now
you see another striker force going out too.
But it's getting picked off by those hinds, and he just has no anti-air.
He needs Blazers. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is it for Team Super Cool Kids in this game. Does have 2 more nukes ready, but I don't know who he could fire it at because there's 2 Sky Guards up from Ganon, and there's 2 Patriots up from Cruelty.
I think his goal was to send that Tusk 1 force into Ganon's base and take out a Sky God and then fire them. And you see him firing them now, but what's he going to hit? He may be going for the expansions, but who knows?
Yeah. And they're upgraded too, so that if he was going to try and take something out in the base, they're going to get there too fast.
And there those Sky Gods go. Oh, one nuke does hit though, because
Oh wow!
the Sky
They
Gods
both shot one?
the Sky Gods both shot one.
I didn't know that that's how it worked.
Neither did I. I don't even know if that's
Wow.
how it's meant to work. I don't know if that's a bug or
It
not.
might be just the Sky Guards, because I've had Patriots work the way that you would expect them to. I have not seen that out of Sky Guards, though.
So we do see Warrior Wound's Rare Earth get nuked by Cruelty.
And Cruelty is following up with its ground force, and yeah, I see a bunch of Delta coming out from Warrior Wounds, but I feel like at this point it's only delaying the inevitable. He might stop Cruelty's force, but you still have the large hind force out of Ganon, and you still have both of them being in a pretty strong economic position. Even though Ganon did just lose his headquarters, he does have enough eco to replace it, which he is doing right now.
And we do see Warrior going for more nukes. The unfortunate thing for him though is he doesn't have any more Rare Earth, and his Rare Earth production was killed.
Yeah, I don't think nukes are going to do much for him right now. Even though he did take out the HQ of Ganon, Ganon is still a threat.
Well, I mean, saying that he could nuke the rest of Ganon's base because Ganon can't get Sky Guards up, but those nukes just aren't
It's
going to come
true.
up.
Here's Cruelty knocking at his door.
And we are seeing Delta dealing damage to that force, but not a lot.
Yeah, the House Delta were hiding and pretty much obliterated. There's a couple of Guardians supporting this, but there are definitely plenty of Blazers for Cruelty. But I don't know, this is actually getting pretty close now.
I mean, the
As I
Guardians
mentioned,
definitely
most
are
of this
playing their
force
part.
was ICVs and Blazers. So, as for taking on those Strikers head on, he was actually pretty evenly matched. Don't know if there's enough Guardians here, though, to continue picking through the Hercules repair.
Although those Delta have been moved into range now, so they should take out the rest of that ground force.
Yeah, yep. We do see Ganon's hind force coming back as well, though. And there's the GG out of Warrior.
So very, very well played by Super Cool Kids, just not enough to hold back that solid build from Penta Sports. So that's the first game. There are 2 more to come, should it go to 3, or there will be at least 1 more. So it's Cruelty and ZX Ganon up by 1 right now. And we are underway. This is the second game between Penta and Team Super Cool Kids. This time, starting in the top left-hand corner, we have Penta Sports Cruelty as the US. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have Penta Sports ZX Ganon as the COT.
And in the upper right, Super Cool Kids, we have Warrior Wounds as the US. And is he going triple refinery?
He is going a triple gold refine.
All right, and in the bottom right, we have Neowave going for a much less interesting single refinery. Let's go back to the triple refinery. What? What is happening? I have never seen this.
So that triple gold refinery, I am going to presume will be a Humvee rush.
Hmm. Interesting. I just I was thinking that maybe he misplaced one and was gonna drag it over the aluminum or something, but no, I'm staring at triple refinery.
No, that triple gold refinery is actually something I've been using for a little bit. It's such a good early start because the whole early start for US is gold. So it
It's
costs, but
true.
it is really effective, especially if you go for Humvees, because you can get a decent Humvee force up and have enough for the upgrade of your choice without having to wait.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it plays out because my concern anytime we start adding more refineries into these builds is that um you have to expand at some point, and this just makes you have to expand faster, in my opinion.
It is a ballsy player, but we'll see if it pulls off or
So he's dropping
works
a
out.
bunker, so it looks like he's going for a more defensive play here. I don't know what he's expecting.
Well, we'll have to see.
If he's maybe expecting to be like Recon or Humvee rushed himself, I wouldn't think so, but anyways, on to other players. Ganon is sending out his forces to a nearby bank. Looks like he's actually going to try and take the bank that's closest to Neowave and deny him that bank. Once again, being aggressive against Neowave and his banks.
Neowave going fairly standard. He's gone for the single gold, single element.
We do see
Where
Warrior dropping down a hospital.
interesting, very interesting. So it looks like he won't go for an early push. It looks like he chose to go for that triple gold just to have a large gold income at the start.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to see how this plays out. He's
Neowave,
grabbing that hospital, so I imagine he's going to try and go for controlling the banks.
it could be. Neowave has gone for his crusher upgrade, so he is a little bit more defended.
Not a bad idea considering that he was harassed early last time by Ganon.
And those crushers are firing a few shots at Ganon's K-Max, so Ganon won't be able to get too much of a spot. Although he's going to head across now and he'll see that field hospital and triple gold and he'll be like, what?
Right? That would be my reaction. I'm still interested to see what Warrior Moons is going to do to capitalize on this.
Right?
He's gonna get this hospital and he's gonna get the dust off to go around the map and get banks, but it's gonna be what is he gonna do after that?
Right now, Ganon has not scouted the US player and it doesn't look like he's making any effort to. So it might come as a little bit of a shock to him later.
We do see a dust off coming out from Cruelty as well. We might see some dust off conflict happening. There they are, they just nearly passed each other. I don't know if Cruelty saw it though. But if Cruelty flies back along this route, Warrior Wounds is gonna have stingers in that bank.
Clever play.
And we see Warrior and Cruelty's recons dancing around each other. Now Warrior went in, they're gonna kill each other.
Or at least Warrior does now have scouts that Cruelty has taken that.
Yes, indeed he does, and he knows that he's going for a similar thing as him. Apparently not seeing anything except for a couple. Oh, I see some snipers out of Warrior Wounds.
So we see Cruelty going for his 2 eco upgrades, whereas Warrior has not even gone for a logistics bay yet.
Neo does have a nice expansion out front. Doesn't have any of his bank. He only has his one bank though. And Ganon Looks like he's planning to expand, doing double refineries around the map as well.
Ganon trying to harass with the one Scorpio, but he is getting pushed back with the Crusher up. Although we see him take down 2 Crushers now.
He does have a Puma out there and an SAS. He does lose the Puma, though. And the Crusher. Those Scorpios.
Scorpio's doing a lot of damage early.
The Scorpios are very nice early game. They can even be good late game. They require a lot of babysitting from the person using them. They're so fragile. If they get caught out by anything for even a fraction of a second, they're gone.
I would have liked to see Neo micro his Crushers better so that they actually did damage to this Scorpio.
I agree. Like right now, Scorpio is just beating up on his economy anyways, so he should have just pulled as many as he could to take care of the Scorpios in the first place, rather than letting them run around and continue to be a nuisance for him. Now we see him being followed up with Hinds and Shershins, which is really bad for Neo in this position.
That is really bad, yeah. We do see that Warrior Wounds has emptied out that bank that Cruelty took, and he is now taking it himself.
I see. Very nice. Yep, that's what the snipers were there for.
And we are seeing Neo produce ninjas now, but they are going to be a bit late. And he's going to lose a lot of his expansion early on, and that's not going to be great for him.
No, it is not. And especially with the Sherishin ground force, the ninjas alone are not going to be enough. We got Sherishins, and he still has a Scorpio on the ground as well, and he's aware of where the SAS is hiding. He's going at him right now with the napalm bombs. The ninja is out, but that is 3 super hinds, and I don't think that one ninja is going to do a severe amount of damage. It's going to require some intense micro. We do see a second ninja out, though. Those Sherishins going to make short work of the Pumas he sent out.
We do see that Scorpio finally go down. And the hinds are pulling back.
I think the hinds are going to go for warrior wounds. Warrior wounds has got a lot of tech, and he's got quite the expansive base already.
That he does.
Thanks to that triple refinery.
He has got air control, which is interesting, although he has not produced anything out of that air.
Yeah, he does have quite a setup going, but he doesn't have any units, really, other than his dust-off that he's been capturing banks with. You see Neo's ninjas prowling around for those hinds.
He is almost completely just teching right now. He's not producing anything. If you look at his armory, he's getting Seawers, he's getting countermeasures, he's getting N-loss, and he's getting
so greedy. But at the same time, I don't see anything else on the map that could threaten him right now. Actually, I do see quite a large dust-off force out of Cruelty, and he is putting mortars. If he were to bring that into like the behind area of Warrior Wound's base, he doesn't have anything that would stop it.
Here come ninjas from Neowave into Ganon's base, although Ganon has got a... I saw him have a few automatics up, but I don't know where they've gone. Oh, there's the one automatic.
They're at the outer expansions of his base. There's one at each expansion to the right of his base.
So those ninjas are going to start killing K-Maxes now, which is very clever.
Yep. Not going to stay there for long, though, because the automatics... As weak as the automatics are, they are a ninja deterrent. We just see the infantry force of Cruelty just growing even more. And he's adding more dust-offs to the mix.
That is a massive infantry force.
And right now I'm looking at Warrior Wounds, and he's got his economy just bogged down right now. He's got production everywhere. I don't even know what he's going for. I see blazers, I see economic upgrades, I see lightnings, I still see tech, I see ospreys, and I see bunkers and refineries. That's a lot. It's a little too much if you ask me at
It's
once.
too much, definitely. And he'll most likely lose his expansion now. He has got bunkers on all his expansions, but those infantry, especially those mortars, will outrange his bunkers.
Yeah, and that looks like that's what Cruelty is going for.
Pretty big ninja force up now from Neo Wave, and he should definitely be pushing for Ganon, and he can do a lot of damage right.
Yes, he needs a ground force too, though. The ninjas are not going to help him on the ground. They're only going to help him in the air battle. Well, and it looks like Cruelty has changed course and is going to go for Warrior's base, which still has nothing. There's one bunker I see in his base, and that's not even going to be anything, because there's mortars in this army. Army has a little bit of everything, and it's not looking good for Warrior Wounds here at all. We got snipers already wiped his bank, and at this point, he should already know he's in trouble.
Very interesting infantry push there, and his production is still so spread out, and none of the things he's producing are good against infantry.
Yeah, and none of the things he's producing are really actually coming out yet. He's got an Osprey, he's got 2 Blazers, he's got a couple of Lightnings, but nothing that's going to deal with this infantry. Neo Wave is sending ninjas that are going to definitely take out those dust-offs, but there are stingers in the infantry army, so he has to be careful. I don't know. I don't know what Warrior is doing in this game. I don't know if he had one plan in his mind and then he switched to another and then just wasn't paying attention to what he still had in production. Now I see white phosphorus upgrades going for Warrior Wounds. I don't understand.
Well, white phosphorus is an anti-infantry upgrade, so it could work.
I know, but he doesn't have anything in production that's even going to use them.
That is very true.
Like, I understand, but I don't understand all at the same time.
We see Scout CGS from Ganon busy killing one of Warrior Wounds' refinery.
I don't know what to make of this situation. It was such a interesting looking start out of Warrior Wounds, and then it looks like he just did everything.
Everything and nothing.
Literally. Exactly, all at the same time. And I don't know what they're gonna do from this position. Cruelty's force is just gonna chip away at this base.
And
there's not enough of a force to push back.
Neo Wave needs outposts. All he's still just using his HQ for drop-offs, and he's really inefficient.
He does have an outpost in the north part of his base, further out, but it's there. Yeah, this force from Cruelty is just gonna eat away Warrior's base. I don't...
And Warrior is still not getting
know.
anything up to count. And we see Pumas from Neo Wave, but those Pumas are gonna die so quickly to those Javelin.
Not sure what's happening. This is not... I have not ever seen this out of Warrior Wounds in any of the games I've watched him play. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's going on.
Interesting enough, Neowave has pretty much been left to produce, and so his economy's looking pretty decent. He's producing, he's getting his sword vehicle bay. He did start to go for triple air control and then cancelled out.
Warrior did get another barracks up. He still has Guardians in production, but I don't think Guardians are going to do the trick for him here.
No, not at all. And he's going to lose his
I
HQs.
mean, nope. He already lost his logistics center a while ago, so there's no more repair for that. And even though he got that barracks up, there's still nothing producing out of it. And Cruelty is now following up with his own Guardian force.
I'm so surprised not to see mortars. Like, I would have thought mortars would be the perfect counter to this infantry.
I would agree. And now we see the Hinds from Ganon pushing in on Neowave and taking out most of his ground force. At least on the outside of his base. He is going to pull back. No, he's going to go back in.
And yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, super cool kids put a lot of practice into it, but silly bold decisions at the start.
I agree. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I just watched. I really don't.
No, it was just one mistake after the next, and it was very clever play from Penta there. They went for a very surprise build, especially Cruelty with those infantry, and it worked. It worked for him. I mean, I would have thought countering it should be fairly easy. You just get up some mortars of your own or something like that, but apparently. So anyway, congratulations to Penta. They go forward to the semi-finals, and we unfortunately say goodbye to Super Cool Kid.